Hello! In this lecture, we are going to be putting together a lot of information. So before you watch this lecture, make sure you have watched all the lectures before it. Hand position, preparation, reading notes in the bass clef, note values, etc. Okay, because this is going to sort of start to combine everything. Okay, so you're not just going to be doing one thing in this exercise. That's why I suggest before you watch this lecture, make sure that you sort of watch the other lectures and really sort of internalize that, okay? Because this is going to combine a lot. All right, so let me show you what we are going to do. We are going to read this, all right? So the first thing you want to look at is right here, okay? This is going to show you if it's in the bass or the treble clef. This is in the bass clef, so we are reading notes in the bass clef. This is going to show you our time signature. The number on top is the number of beats per measure, so we're going to have 4 beats per measure. The bottom is which note gets the beat. Since it's a 4, that's going to be a quarter note. So a quarter note's going to get the beat. There's 4 beats in a measure. I've sort of written out the notes here just as a sort of cheat sheet because I do suggest, but when you first start reading music, I would pencil in these notes until you're absolutely confident. That's just what I suggest because why not? You know, the more you do it, you're just going to know them anyway eventually. So it's okay to sort of write the notes in at first. So as we learned in our previous lecture, this number corresponds to the finger we're using. Number 2 is the pointer finger. Okay, let me just go over that briefly in case you missed that. 1 is the thumb, 2 is pointer, 3 is middle, and 4 is ring. We never play with the pinky. Okay, so we are going to be using the pointer finger to pluck this note, the thumb to pluck this one, pointer and thumb. And the reason these numbers are here, and they're going to be in a lot of music, by the way, even especially very advanced music, it's going to have these numbers to sort of guide you on the best fingers to use to prepare. Because when you're playing the harp, the most important, well, I shouldn't say the most, but one of the most important things to remember is to prepare. And what that means is that before you pluck any string, make sure that you have a finger on the next string you're going to pluck, okay? Because you want to make sure that as soon as you pluck this note, this string, you're already going to have your finger on the next string. And that is just a golden rule. No matter what level you're playing, make sure that you always have, basically, you're always going to have at least 2 fingers on the harp at all times. Unless there's like a really long rest for like measures and measures, like, you know, or it's the end of the piece, you're always going to have at least 2 fingers on the harp. So when you're looking at this piece, I can tell you right now, before you play this note, you're going to have a finger on this. So you're going to have these 2 ready. Okay? So that's what these numbers are for. They're to help you to prepare. You don't need these numbers, especially the more you get used to it, you can just figure out how to prepare. But almost all music, all levels, you're going to see these numbers, so it's important to know what they mean. Okay? So, first, let's count the beats. Let's do one thing at a time. Quarter note gets the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the timing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? So, let me just show you. I'm not going to play the notes right away. I just want to show you the timing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? But this lesson we are actually going to play the actual notes. So you're going to have to remember what these notes are, where they are. And again, if this just looks completely foreign to you, go over the lectures and reading the bass clef, okay? Because that's going to show you how we know where these notes are in the harp, okay? So let's go over that really briefly. The reason I put this note down here, you're not going to see this note if it's not being played, but I write it here because I want you to know. Actually, this is the bass clef. That isn't middle C here. That's another note down there. Middle C and the bass clef is going to be up here. So I want you to know that middle C is right above this staff when you see the bass clef. So we're looking at the notes right below middle C. So one way to do it, count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This note is going to be 5 below middle C. So, I'll show you on the harp. So this is middle C. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes below is going to be this note. So that's what that note is. Another way to check is that we know this is an E. All cats eat gophers. So we're going to know this is going to be 2 notes above a red string. Okay? And it's going to be the first E below middle C. So that's another way to check that we have got that note. Alright? So right here, that's where that note is. Now, the other thing to remember is those numbers. So 1 is thumb, 2 is pointer. So since we have a 2 below that note, that's going to mean this note, this finger is going to play it. And then the next note is going to be, if you look here, all cats eat gophers. It's a G. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 3 strings below middle C. It's going to be first G below middle C. So here's middle C. 1, 2, 3 notes below. Right there is that G. An easy way to tell it's a G, it's 1 note above this blue string, which is an F. So this is the second note. So you're going to prepare, make sure you have 2 fingers on the string. The first note is going to be plucked with the pointer finger. The second is with the thumb. Okay, so those are the first 2. But as you know, before you can pluck that second note, you want to make sure your finger knows where else to go. So let's look back. And you can actually see right away that these are the same notes repeated. E, G, E, G. So that's pretty easy to see. That we are going to be playing E, G, E, G with the pointer finger and the thumb. So let me show you how that works. E. But before you play the G string here, you're going to make sure that you have your finger ready to play the E again. Before you play the E, make sure your next finger is on the G. Now, at the end of the music, of course, you're not going to prepare because it's the end of the piece. But before you play any note, you see how there's 2 fingers on the harp at all times? So, this is what we are playing. That is how you translate, one piece at a time, this information to this information. You're going to find out where those notes are, make sure you're playing with the right fingers, make sure you're preparing. Obviously, make sure you're in the right position. Wrists are flat, fingers down, thumbs up. Okay, thumbs up, fingers down. Golden rule of the harp. So, thumbs up, fingers down. I'm playing, normally you play right in the middle of the strings. I'm playing a little higher just so you can see really clearly. Okay, elbow up in the left arm. Before you pluck this note, make sure that this is ready. This, you know what, another way to think of it, when you're playing music, in some ways, the second note is more important than the first note. Because before you can pluck this note, you have to make sure that this next note is completely prepared. You are completely prepared to play this next note. A strange analogy, I just want to throw out there, if you've ever played like Tetris or some kind of game like that, you know how, like, you understand this concept because you're always thinking of like the next step. You know, it's like, you know, you already know, like, as soon as you know where the string is, you can almost forget it. Like, you already know which note you're playing. Like, it's kind of old news. Like, you're ready, it's ready to go. The more important thing is the next step. It's having that next finger ready. And as soon as you know that, and you're just about ready to pluck this note, you're really what's more important is this note. So in some ways, that's what preparation is. It's always thinking about the next note. Because if your finger isn't on the next note, then you're very limited in what you can play. You can't play really quickly because it takes time to take a finger from off of string and put it on the string and pluck. It also is not going to be as fluid. So I know I've mentioned preparation a lot, but that's why I keep driving it home, because if you don't learn to prepare when you first play the harp, you're going to sort of sell yourself short. You're not going to be able to play really complex pieces that are very quick or require preparation. So that's why I keep mentioning preparation. Besides hand position, all that stuff, making sure you're sitting correctly, your hands are in the correct position, preparation is so, so important. Even if you don't want to ever read music, even if you've tried to read music and it's just not for you, it's not something you really want to do that much, you still, if you're just playing the harp, if you're playing anything on the harp, you want to sort of learn the preparation. Okay? So that's my spiel. Let's one more time show you how to play what is on there. And again, watch this several times until see how my fingers on there before I played that? One and two and one and two. That's how you're going to count it. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Okay? So, that is how we are going to combine all of these elements. And in the next lecture, we're going to do sort of the same thing. We're just going to use different notes, okay? Same principle, but I just want you to experiment with different note values, okay? All right, see you then.